Contrary to the popular opinion, in Scrum and Agile, we may need to have some dates and forecasts. And it is absolutely fine to use various Agile practices and methods in order to create those forecasts and plans. The most important part here is to still stay true to the Agile values and principles. So in this video, I'd like to share some of the ways of how you can use various product tools to help you create forecasts, plans, potential dates, and also create transparency with your stakeholders around how your team is progressing towards goals. Hey, it's Daria here. Welcome. In this video, we will be building awesome teams using some road mapping and product management tools. So in this video, I'm going to share a short clip from one of my mentorship sessions where I talk about roadmaps, using estimations, and really creating forecasts and plans with your product owner, if you're a Scrum Master, or just if you are a product owner as well. Why I chose this clip specifically? Because I really deep dive into how we are doing it, or giving examples of how we did it with one of the teams on creating a roadmap, and I think it can be extremely valuable. So the quality of the video is okay-ish, so it's not the best. I think the most important is obviously the content of what I'm saying. I hope that this is something that can help you really build good roadmaps, good plans, but more importantly, to build relationships with your stakeholders through building and creating transparency around what your team is working on and what the progress they are making towards their goals, towards release milestones and objectives. I'm going to be deep diving more specifically in how a Scrum Master would help a product owner. What are some of the things that the Scrum Master can do to support the product owner, whether the product owner knows how to do these things or not. If you are a Scrum Master, you still need to know what those practices are and how to use them. What the product owner most likely looking into is how can you help him to be more effective and communicate with the team more effectively. One of the things is that where the Scrum Master can help is with road mapping and forecasting or release planning. What is a roadmap really? It's basically kind of a way to show what will be delivered, what you want to deliver in the upcoming several months, right? So for example, with one of the teams, we are creating the roadmap for the second quarter of 2023. So it's 3 months. So we sat down, we looked at all of the different things that the company wants to build, right? And then we prioritized it and defined, well, which items are the most important. Then what we did, we took that information, as much information as we could on like the top priority items that we definitely want to include in the upcoming quarter to our teams. And then we ask them estimate the work, right? So it will be kind of high level estimates because we don't have maybe all of the details yet, but we still need to have some kind of estimates from the team. So that means that it's a high level estimate that can help us create forecast for our roadmap, is like how much actual work would we be able to accomplish. What we would do is we look at our previous quarter and we look at our velocity over the quarter and we say, well, on average, we're able to accomplish 100 story points per sprint. Our worst case is 70 points per sprint. That was like our lowest number. And our biggest is 130, for example. So you have best case, worst case, and you have kind of in the middle. And then you say, well, in quarter 2, we'll have 6 sprints, right? If you have two-week sprints. So we have 6 sprints. So generally, we should be able to accomplish about 600 points in this during that time. And this is where you're kind of going back and you're creating your roadmap and planning that release, right? You can say, well, the next quarter, that is kind of our release window, right? We want to release something at the end of it. You kind of look into what the team has estimated already, and you see how much work is actually fitting into those 600 points. That is kind of how you would generally look into how what the team would be doing in the upcoming quarter. And that can help the product owner to kind of forecast, to then take this information and communicate it with the stakeholders. So those are kind of the things that I think the product owner would be interested in. And roadmap is really, kind of like a list of things that you want to work on. This is a roadmap in Jira, for example, right? So, for example, we want to have project definition and alignment, and we can say, well, we're going to start working on it. Maybe we'll say October, this is when we are. And we say, well, based on our estimations, this is going to take a month, right? And then you can say, well, okay, do we think we can start working on this resolving major technical debt somewhere earlier? Or do you think it's going to have to move maybe later? And maybe you have something like this. And then you say, we'll also start working on this item, but this is going to take us to the end of the quarter. So that is technically the roadmap. It just shows you what is the order of things you want to work in and approximately how much work you would be able to fit into your whatever period you're planning for. So the Scrum Master can help with some of the metrics and facilitating estimations, for example. A lot of the other work is kind of on the product owner, like the product owner will be communicating with the stakeholders to understand what is the order of priority, for example, to make those decisions, to say, okay, here are the items are must-haves, should-haves, right? Here's the order 1, 2, 3, 4. And based on our estimations, right, this is where you can help the product owner to maybe give that information on kind of worst case, best case scenarios and help look generally of how much work the team would be able to accomplish. And just facilitating that, say you are preparing for the next quarter and you need to do some refinements before you actually go into the next quarter. And so this is where you would be able to help to facilitate the refinements, for example, and the estimation. You will have the best, information, the metrics on the team's velocity once the quarter ended, because then you can have the information from the whole past quarter of what the velocity was. And that will give you a bit more, like a better picture of how much work the team can do. In terms of prioritization and kind of creating the roadmap, deciding what do we want to put in, what is maybe the order of things, right? This should happen beforehand. Like you don't want to wait until the very last moment, until the quarter actually started to start looking into that. With the team we're working with right now, we started like at the beginning of March, slowly started to looking into what are the items. We started to kind of talk with the stakeholders to align on this. We started to show that work to the teams so that they can start giving us some high level estimation, right? And the quarter just started today. We were very slow, but we took kind of that month to prepare. It's best if the whole team is there. I can't say it's a must. What I wouldn't recommend is just sending the team leads to that refinement, because that is really limiting the understanding. I think that because the team members need to be at least aware of what is coming. And ideally, you want to include at least some team members into these discussions, not just the team leads. What might happen is you're coming into the refinement, right? And you start looking into items in your product backlog, and then you have some questions, and maybe the product owner doesn't have the answers yet. Maybe they need to kind of say, well, I need to go talk to our customer success team to figure out what they actually want. You need like the next step. A lot of teams will have the refinement, say 1 hour every week. It doesn't mean that you're going to spend 1 hour every week. Sometimes it may be very quick and easy. Sometimes you might say, we don't have anything new to refine. And then sometimes in situations, maybe when you're preparing for that roadmap for the next quarter, you might have more, right? So you might need to have several rounds of those refinements just to have everything kind of ready. That was it for this video, and that was the short clip that I want to show you. I am going to look into other of my mentorship sessions to see what other useful clips I can find in there so that I can share those with you. If you want to learn more about my mentorship program, I'm going to put the link in the description so you can jump in and see what is available, how you can join, and all of that. And obviously, what are some of the benefits for you if you are joining my mentorship program. Obviously, I will be sharing all of the other useful links and tools that might be helpful for you. And I guess the last thing that I would like to share with you is I also have a new product owner guide where I deep dive in some of these topics, such as roadmaps, writing user stories, product backlog management, all of these things. And if you are interested, whether it's Scrum Master or product owner, you definitely can find some very useful and actionable tools within that guide. And I'm going to put the link to the product owner guide in the description as well, so that you can go and check it out to see if this is something that can get you started if you are not sure where to start. I hope you learned something new today, and if you did, remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And I will see you in the next one. Cheers and Scrum on!